Phares is a 5-star wind support unit and is the second scion of the Alberian royal family. A mad scientist plagued with wind scale, his sheer determination to live allowed him to become the puppet of the Progenitor in exchange for his new lease on life. Now free from the Progenitor's control, he now uses his knowledge from all of his research as well as the experience of being the Progenitor's puppet to guide the allied Dragalia forces against the Progenitor as a tactician. He is a dual phase supporter unit with significantly different supporting capabilities when in and out of Dragon Drive. He also gains increased combat capabilities when in Dragon Drive. For his abilities, they play around with his affliction resistance. He gains resistance to afflictions by 150% when in Dragon Drive, is able to restore HP with 25% potency when hit by an affliction attack, and gains a strength increase when he has no afflictions, albeit negligible. Uranus's blessing doesn't allow Phares to shapeshift into Uranus, as the dragon is canonically dead. But prior to his death, he blessed Phares with his mana, reversing the rotting of his organs that came as a consequence of being the Progenitor's puppet. Now, this ability allows him to enter Dragon Drive, which has the standard UTP stats for a Dragon Drive unit. Of course, he is granted a unique combo chain, like all Dragon Drive units, as well as an enhanced Force Strike, though this Force Strike applies the Victim of Science effect to enemies, which basically allow Phares to deal additional damage to them with his first skill. Like Dragon Drive units, he also gets stat boosts. In his case, he has 35% increased strength, as well as being able to restore HP when hit by an affliction attack. Lastly, this ability also grants a strength amp every time he applies an affliction. His Thirst of Life allows him to gain increased resistance to afflictions when in Dragon Drive. It also acts as a failsafe, allowing Phares to use his Dragon Drive bar to nullify a lethal attack, provided the attack does not possess the ability to deactivate Dragon Drive or forcibly kills the unit. When this failsafe gets triggered, it removes all afflictions from Phares. He also becomes fatigued for a minute, unable to enter Dragon Drive and gain any UTP. Now, let's take a look at his skills. His first skill by default provides 3 things: a 1U shield, increased water resistance, and increased chance of afflicting afflictions. This is a pretty good skill, with decent SP cost, and useful abilities, especially the affliction chance increase, which is incredibly useful in endgame boss stages. The Dragon Drive variant deals average damage for its SP, and inflicts both poison and storm lash. It also deals additional damage to enemies, afflicted with the Victim of Science from his ability, as well as dispelling a buff from them. If the enemy is afflicted by any affliction, then it receives more damage, in exchange of missing out on the dispelling. This is a more offensive form of this skill, though the damage output is slightly above average at best. The main function is to dispel and provide poison and storm lash support, which is already good with this SP cost. His second skill by default does 4 things: cleanses the entire team, grants a team strength amp, removes the fatigue debuff, as well as granting UTP. The SP cost is higher, but the effects it grants are prominent enough to justify the SP cost. It is a good skill, especially at allowing Phares to enter Dragon Drive easier and faster. The Dragon Drive variant deals decent damage, grants a team strength amp, as well as extending the remaining time of all damage over time afflictions on the enemy. The time extension will not exceed the maximum duration of the affliction. This variant is the first in all skills to extend the duration of all afflictions, as similar forms only existed in units who have a focus on one specific affliction for support. This is a good yet situational skill, as the extension effect works best when the enemy has multiple affliction, else it becomes quite useless. So, what do you think about Phares? I can agree that he is an impressive support unit, with quite a few new abilities that we have not seen in any other character as of date. His focus is more on defensive support and multiple affliction support, and will be especially helpful in teams with multiple affliction inflictors. His own abilities are more towards ensuring his survivability on field, as a reference to his sheer determination to live. Performance aside, he is also integral in the plot of the main story, so having him will allow players to know much more about what he went through, especially when it comes to the name of his dragon drive ability, as we don't know the whereabouts of Uranus unless we go through his story. That's all from me. Moga out.